Alright guys, hi and welcome back to the Pink Palace. This is your girl Pink, and today we're not doing makeup. Today I am doing a story time video that I put up on a poll yesterday on my Instagram and Facebook, and this one got the most votes. So today we are talking about how I almost died giving birth to my daughter. So stay tuned, watch. I'm going to try to make it as short as possible, and yeah. Alright, so let's get the settings started. Now it is August 2011, about, I want to say like the 9th. Yeah, it's about the 9th. And I go to my doctor's appointment and they let me know that I'm only 2 centimeters dilated, but I do need to go to the hospital because I'm losing fluid. So they're saying that she's not getting enough like fluid in the belly for her to stay hydrated, I guess. I don't know how to explain it. So she's like, you need to go to the doctor or go to the hospital after this. No rush, go home, pack some things. You might be there a few days and see if they can induce your labor because you're not dilating very much and we want to do things for the safety of the baby. So I'm like, okay, fine. Overall, I had a very, very amazing pregnancy. Like, no complications. Everything went perfectly. She was growing perfectly. I was being healthy and eating all the right things. Everything was perfect. Sorry, I keep looking at my makeup. I look a little white today, sorry. I'm probably not done getting ready for work. But yeah, so I call my mom and let her know that I need to go to the hospital. And she's like, okay, fine. I'm gonna leave work and we're gonna head on over. It's like, okay, cool. I pack a couple things, you know, the usual toothbrush and little washcloth, and you know, I'm thinking I'm only gonna be there like 2 days. So we head over to the hospital, but we went to the wrong one. So that was like one part of everything. And I'm like, what? So then we go to the right hospital because there are 2 different hospitals in Brooklyn. There's Wyckoff and then there's something else. What is it called? Wyckoff and Woodhall. So we went to Woodhall and that wasn't my assigned hospital. I had to go to Wyckoff. So we went over to Wyckoff finally. We were waiting for a really long time and then they finally put me in a room. They're checking on me and they're like, okay, so we're gonna try to induce your labor, but we're not gonna just go all in. We're gonna give you Cervidil, which is like some kind of gel substance they put around your cervix, and see if you dilate. I'm like, okay. They're like, get comfortable. It usually takes a while, so don't worry. You're not overdue or anything, so you're fine. So okay, fine. So my contractions are skyrocketing, like off of the charts on the little machine, and I felt every single piece of it. And they're like, oh, well, you'll be fine. And I'm like, no, this hurts. Like, can we get her out now? Like, I'm starting to worry because you're saying everything's fine, but my contractions are like not fine. So finally, my mom is like, what the hell's going on? They're like, oh, don't worry, we're gonna give her something in her IV. And I don't know if I'm getting this right. I don't know if the Cervidil or the Pitocin was in my IV or around the cervix. So though I know those are the 2 drugs that they had me on. So they put, I believe, the Pitocin in my IV and I knocked out instantly, like knocked out. Then they put a catheter in, which woke me up because it hurt so badly, like I was screaming in pain, and then I fell back asleep. So that's day 1. So then we're there on the 10th, the next day. Same thing. They're like, you haven't dilated very much. It's maybe like 5 centimeters now, but we're still gonna wait. And I'm like, okay, but the contractions haven't stopped. Everything's been really like painful, and I think I need to know what's going on. More medicine in my IV, knocked out again. I haven't eaten anything since before we went to the hospital. So this is day 2 with no food really. Okay, fine. Now my blood pressure is starting to act up. And my godmother is at the hospital with my mom and my brother with me, and she's like, something's not right. Finally, it's the 11th, and she's like, so they're not gonna give you an emergency C-section. This is 3 days with no food, no nothing. They're telling you to chew on ice and pretend it's a cheeseburger, which is exactly what they said to me. It's kind of rude. Ice doesn't help. Ice doesn't help at all. So anyways, finally My godmother says, give me the patient's advocate. I'm going to start suing you guys. We need to figure out what's going on. All of a sudden, they're like, hey, by the way, we're going to put you in a room right now so we can go ahead and get you all ready, right? We're going to get you ready to get into a C-section. Okay, so I'm obviously getting my days wrong. So we went the 10th, then there was the 11th, and then I had my daughter on the 12th. So it's around 8 o'clock at night now on the 12th, and they're giving me, you know, the little thing in your back to numb me, and my mom is there, and I'm freaking out. I was so scared that something was going to be wrong with the baby because it's been 3 days on high medications and freaking out. I haven't eaten anything. I feel dizzy. I feel lightheaded, but they're telling me everything's okay. Finally, 9 o'clock rolls around and they start everything. I'm laying there with my arms out like this with little airbags on them in a way to keep me cool because keep me warm because I was freezing. Like, I'm literally laying there shaking the entire time. My mom is next to me in a chair and she's like, don't worry, you'll be fine. And I'm freaking out, I'm crying, I don't know what to do, and I smell this the worst smell I've ever smelled in my life. And my mom is like, what is she's like a nurse, so she's seen some crazy things, and she's like, oh, don't worry honey, that's just your skin burning off, that's that smell that you smell. And I'm like, what? So they give me a C-section, and it is a 8/12/2011, and my daughter was born 9:13 p.m. So I feel them pull her out, and they're like, oh, you're gonna have like a little bit of pressure, don't worry, it's not gonna hurt. And I'm like, okay, nothing's worse than the freaking contractions, right? So they go to pull her out, and she crawls back up, and all I feel is like right here, they're like pushing her back down, and they're like, she doesn't want to come out. And I'm like, well, that's not a choice at this point. No, overdue, let's do this now. So they're pushing her back down, and I feel like it felt like a 600-pound person was pressing on my freaking stomach to push this baby out. Like, it was a lot more than just pressure. So finally she comes out, and she doesn't cry like a normal baby. This is how I knew she was gonna be a pain in the butt. She didn't cry like a normal baby. She came out screaming. Wow. I cried, my mom cried, my mom got to hold her, I put her next to my face and I was talking to her, and then she was gone. So they're sewing me back up or whatever, and they gave me some medicine to fall asleep, so I was asleep the rest of the time. I told my mom goodbye. I let her know that I would see her in the morning, and hopefully they would bring the baby into the room, and they put me into a recovery room. This is where things went ridiculous. I'm in the recovery room, and one of the little nurse assistants or RNs or whatever comes in, and she brings me some red Jello and a glass of water. I'm eating the Jello, and I'm letting her know I don't feel right. I don't know what it could be, but right now I just don't feel okay. So in the middle of me telling this poor nurse that I don't feel okay, she's asking me what the problem is. I throw up the red Jello all over her and immediately start crying and apologizing because I don't know what's happening. So I'm crying and I'm apologizing, and she's like, no, it's okay. She calls the doctor, and then all of a sudden I start shaking. Like, I'm freezing, shaking. And then the doctors rush in, and my mom is called, and I black out. Now, I'm getting the story from my mother. She tells me that I was in a medical-induced coma for 3 days. So this is already day 4 in the hospital that I fall into this coma. I haven't seen my daughter yet. I haven't eaten. Apparently, I was in a dark room alone where they had to keep me because the lights would mess with me. Like, I wouldn't feel, like, it would give me more of a migraine, or like my vitals would flare up. I'm not sure. And had they not been careful, my blood pressure could have killed me. So my mom had to watch my baby for me. They had to bring her into a different room because they were afraid that if she cried, I could my body would just like react wrong. So things got bad from there, and I didn't, like I said, didn't see my daughter for 3 days. I was in the coma for 3 days. My mom had to quit her job basically and take care of my child while I'm in the hospital. All of it was due to them not letting me eat, them telling me, like, giving me more than one medication at a time. It was just a lot. And finally I did wake up. It's like, I won't say like a miracle that I woke up, but it could have gone worse. I woke up, I finally saw my daughter, and this is like day 7 in the hospital, and they sent me home like the next day. So I spent a little over a week in the hospital trying to give birth to my child. But overall, things were good. I'm very happy that my child was happy and healthy. And yeah. Now my mom is afraid if I ever have any more children, although my wife and I do want more children really badly. So I'm afraid of dying. But we know what can happen now. We know what precautions we need to take and what we need to look out for if we ever do find ourselves in the situation of having to give birth again. And I would never ever suggest either one of those 2 Brooklyn hospitals if you're ever finding yourself there. So yeah, don't do it. But we're good now. But now we are glad to have a happy and healthy 6-year-old. Say hi.
Hi.
Say hi, YouTube.
Hi, YouTube.
And you'll be seeing a whole lot more of her in my videos. Not just her own, but with me. Hopefully doing some crafts and stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah?
Mm-hmm.
But like I said, thank you guys for watching. It wasn't as much of a horror story as many would have thought, but it could have ended with my life being taken just to have this beautiful little monster. Thanks guys for watching.